Multiplying Binomials, Part 3. In today's quick lesson, students will review how to multiply binomials using the lattice method. Using what? But this time, there are coefficients in front of the quadratic term. There are what? Coefficients in front of the quadratic term. Very good. Okay, so who remembers what this box is called? Remember, there's a square with 4 little squares on the inside. Starts with an L, rhymes with addis. Lattice. Good. This is a lattice. And we use this to multiply binomials. What I want you to notice this time is that there are coefficients in front of the x's, okay? And when you multiply x and x, they make x squared, right? And we call that the quadratic term. So in this first box, we have to remember that we're not just multiplying x times x to get x squared. We're also multiplying the coefficients together. So if you have 2x times 3x, what do you think that is? 2x times 3x. Come on, you're all smart. Okay, what's 2 times 3? It is 6. And then what about x times x? Because there's an invisible 1 and an invisible 1. So 6x to the power of 2. So you get 6x squared, okay? That's the only thing that is different about these. Okay, so you get 6x squared, that's your quadratic term. What about 3x times 3? 3x times 3, remember, you have to multiply the coefficients together. 3 times 3 is 9, but that's actually 9x, that's right. So don't forget about the x. All right, now in this bottom left square, we have 2x times 4. 2x times 4, just multiply the coefficients. 2 times 4 is 8, but then there's also an x. Okay, very nice. And then let's do the constant. The constant is going to be the 2 coefficients multiplied together. That's 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Very nice. And that is a positive 12, right? Okay. So there are positives in front of the linear terms. The linear terms are the like terms. So we go ahead and we make an oval or a circle around these. We're going to take these 2 terms, we're going to make them 1. We call that combine like terms. Do it with me now. Combine like terms. Very nice. So first of all, what is 9x plus 8x? Okay, 9 plus 8 is what? Is 17x. Very nice. 17x. So let's look at our quadratic term that's in blue. Quadratic term, what is it? It is 6x squared. Okay, because now we're going to write the equation. And then we look at our linear term. Remember, this is linear. Okay, these are the ones where we combine like terms to make one linear term. That is going to be a positive 17x. And what about the constant? That's in red. The constant is just a number by itself. It is positive 12. Very nice. So this is the equation that you get after you multiply these binomials together. We have, in parentheses, although you don't see them, this is 3x minus 1 multiplied by 4x plus 2. Okay, so remember, look at the coefficients in front of the x. So we're looking at the linear terms here. First, in this box, we have 3x times 4x, positive 4x. 3x times 4x. So we say, what's 4 times 3? 4 times 3 is 12. And x times x is x squared. Very nice, x squared. Now let's look at this box here. We have a negative 1 times 4x. Negative 1 times 4x. Well, whenever you multiply something by 1, you get itself. But you're multiplying it by a negative, so it's going to make it negative what? 4x. Very good. Next is positive 3x. Okay. 3x times 2. 3x times 2, what's 2 times 3? 2 times 3 is 6x. Good. And this is positive. Okay. Last one, let's look at the coefficients. We have 2 times and negative 1. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Negative 2, because we're multiplying, right? All right. So, do we see some linear terms that we could combine? Yes. We have a positive 6x and a negative 4x. Okay, which number is bigger? The 6, right? Okay. Do they have different signs? Positive 6 and negative 4? Yes. So what do you have to do? Say different signs, subtract. Keep the sign of the higher number. So 6 minus 4 is positive 2x. Don't forget, and this is called the linear term. Okay, what is it called? Linear term. So the quadratic term is the blue one, okay? It has the x squared with it, so it's 12x squared, okay? Then you have positive 2x, and what is the constant, my friends? It's the red one. The constant is negative 2. Very nice. Okay, so go ahead and get that down. Let's do another example, and this time you have a negative coefficient right here on the side, okay? You have 6x plus 3 multiplied by 2x minus 5. So first we say, what is 6x times 2x? Remember, the coefficients you also have to multiply together, okay? So we have 2 times 6, which is 12, and then x times x is x squared, okay, or x to the power of 2. Next you have positive 3 times 2x. Positive 3 times 2x. What's 2 times 3? It is positive 6x. Don't forget the x. Now we have 6x times negative 5. 6x times negative 5, you have to multiply the coefficients, right? 6 times 5 is, or 6 times negative 5 is negative 30x. There we go. And then last is negative 5 times 3. Well, negative times positive is negative. This is going to be negative 15. Negative 15. Very good. Okay. What do we have to do next? What do we have to do next? We have to combine like terms. That's right. The like terms are the linear terms in the middle. So we have a negative 30 and a positive 6. Do they have different signs? Yes. So we have to subtract. We say 30, take away 6. All right. Can you take 6 from 0? No. So you have to go next door, borrow 1, and we have 10 minus 6 is 10 take away 6, 4, and then 2. Now the sign of the bigger number is 30, so that's going to be a negative 24. Quadratic term is positive 12x squared. The linear term is, again, it is negative 24x. Negative 24x. All right, so we say negative 24x. And then the linear, sorry, that's a linear term. Did I say quadratic? That's the linear term. And the constant is negative 15. Okay, so go ahead and get that down. And in our last example for today, we have two negative coefficients. So we have 5x minus 4 multiplied by 2x minus 3. So let's go ahead and multiply one box at a time. 5x times 2x, you know this now. Multiply the coefficients, what does it make? We have 10, but there's also 2 x's, so we say x squared. Very nice. What about a negative 4 times 2x? Negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x. Very good. Negative 8x. All right. And then what about, in this box, we have 5x times a negative 3. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15x. Very good. And last but not least, we have the coefficients negative 4 times negative 3. A negative times a negative is positive, and it is positive 12. Very nice. So now we have to do what? We have to do what? We have to combine like terms. And here you have two negatives. So remember, when you're adding negatives, they have the same sign. So you say same signs, add and keep. So we have 15 plus an 8. So 5 plus 8 is 13. Carry the 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So this will be negative because it's negative, negative. We're going to keep the sign, or keep the sign. Same signs, add and keep. So it's negative 23x. All right. So our quadratic term is 10x squared. What is it? Okay, good. The linear term is here. So that's a negative 23x. And last is the constant term, which is a positive 12. Very nice. Go ahead and get that down.